di nuovo. We are back with a small excursus on coffee packaging. I'm happy to see you and
Ciao Nora.
welcome Massimo.
What do you expect of a coffee bag when you buy it? Which information would you like to find in order to better understand the coffee you are going to taste?
So me, I'm someone who's solely buying specialty coffee. So I go, if I want to buy coffee, I mostly visit small coffee shops or artisan roasteries. And the first indication I look at is, of course, the origin country.
Yes, origin is already a very important starting point. There are 70 producing countries in the world and we should know where coffee comes from, right?
Yes, and also it gives already an indication in which taste journey it will take you. So we have the origin, and as next one, of course, we have the region, because origin is referring to the whole country.
Yes, in a country we can have multiple regions. In Guatemala, for example, we have 8 different regions, all with different characteristics. And then obviously the farm, the plantation, right?
Origin, region, farm.
And farm.
Do you need to have indications about the farmer?
Regarding the farmer, I'd like also to get some information on the quality of the plantation and on the type of cultivation. But I'd also want to find a link, a barcode or something similar on the label, bringing me to the web page of the plantation and allowing me to also see the producer's face.
Così posso conoscere anche la faccia del produttore.
So you mean like a farm ID, so you have, for example, a QR code and you can scan it and then you can get all the information which you need, because often it's too many information to have them on the etiquette, and as you see, the packaging is not super big. And as you also know, a lot of people are not so into reading when they are buying products. So many coffees are designed with either colors or major indications, and then they still offer the possibility to put, for example, the farm ID through the homepage or through our QR
There are
code.
also wonderful stories to tell behind every coffee.
So we put the storytelling. And then what about altitude? Is it something you want to have on the packaging?
Yes, altitude is a very important factor. Arabica grows between 900 and 2000 meters above sea level, and the higher the altitude, the higher the coffee quality in terms of density and volatile and aromatic components. One of the few true statements in advertising is that mountain coffee tastes better, because the higher the altitude, the better the coffee
Le
characteristics.
caratteristiche del caffè sono di maggiore qualità.
And also with the altitude we have the soil, right? And with the soil we have also the variety. Not every variety is growing in every altitude and not on every soil.
Knowing the varieties is very important, as especially in the last few years varieties have been changing. Personally, I like the oldest varieties, the ones that are more linked to the Bourbon, the ones that are more linked to the Typica species, as they are those which have the richest primary flavors. But there are also many others, and they already provide an accurate indication on what I'll find in the cup.
Okay, but you are expert on everything regarding green coffee. I would say like the variety itself is already level pro. So what is important on the coffee packaging, if you like coffee and love coffee but you are not like super pro, super geek, is of course the processing. That's for me one of the relevant informations, because it gives me a hint of what I can expect. Because the processing says if you have a washed coffee, you have a higher acidity, or you can expect a higher acidity, because we start to think from the point we buy a coffee which we don't know from an unknown roastery.
Sì, è molto importante conoscere.
Yes, knowing the type of processing is very important. This is the first processing coffee undergoes. Wash coffees are acid and very clean. Natural coffees are much fuller, much more aromatic and sweeter too. Honey-type intermediate coffee are obviously slightly sweet but also very aromatic. So I think these are important elements to characterize our coffees.
Caratterizzare i nostri caffè.
And this pool of processing also started to be a never-ending list because there's so many new trends and new developments in the coffee business. So okay, we have all the origin of the coffee, we have the variety, we have the processing. The next most important indication on the packaging
È il
is
secondo livello di lavorazione.
It is the second processing level, roasting, and it is very important even in special coffees.
Nei caffè anche speciali.
So we have different kind of indications on the packaging. I sum it up as roast style, and as we don't know the roastery, we only can see what is on the packaging. So mostly, or exemplary, you find, for example, an indication of the roast style in symbols. So you have, for example, the mocha, I'm destroying the chart, or a cup symbolizing espresso preparation, versus drip coffee, which is symbolized like this. Or you can have a scale of like different shadows of a color, which tells you, okay, this is like a more developed roast, more dark, more classic, and more it goes in this direction, more light it is. Massimo, which kind of coffee you prefer most?
A me piacciono molto
I
i
like
caffè
very much the
filtro,
filter
quindi
coffees with a light or medium to light roasting, as this way I can better appreciate their aromatic characteristic and sweetness.
But you prepare this coffee in the espresso machine, or you
No,
pour it
I
as
have
a-
the French one and I use the gravity brewing systems. For example, I have the V60, which is my favorite
per
one.
esempio,
Okay.
che è la mia preferita.
But for espresso, because there is the trend in the coffee business that many roasters don't distinguish anymore between espresso and filter roast. They call it omni roast, so it's one roast style for any kind of preparation, because they see these methods, which generalize many methods on the market. As there is the new trend in the coffee business that roasters don't distinguish anymore between espresso or filter roast. It's the so-called omni roast. Because they see and consider coffee as a matter of extraction. So it doesn't matter how you extract it, so you need just one roast style. Linked with the roast style, of course, is a very important indication, which is the date. The date of roast. Because every coffee, depending on the roast style, and it's very difficult to see it on the package, you have to open the coffee to see the actual indication or situation inside. So you have the date, and it's again difficult because we are talking about a natural product to decide how long is the shelf life of this. Of course, you can drink a coffee even 1 year after you bought it, but you will not be very pleased with the flavors and aromas you will find in the package because it's simply a product which is aging. So the lifespan of a coffee which is more or less roasted is shorter than the one which is more developed in roast, because it's linked with the gases which are contained in the beans, and also the degassing or the resting period after the roast. Massimo, what about the packaging itself? Does it have any impact on
Il packaging
On the
è molto
coffee.
importante.
As for the packaging, it is very important to choose the appropriate package, taking account its sustainability and environmental impact. I always prefer single material packaging, even plastic ones, that can be later easily turned into compost. This way we also save nature as well as ourselves from the issues related to climate change.
legati ai cambiamenti climatici.
So you mean like sustainability is one important thing, and then actually what about the price? How much does specialty coffee cost if I go into a shop?
I prezzi legati agli
Specialty coffee prices are rather high, but one should take into account the great amount of effort and work behind specialty coffee.
fatica, il grande lavoro che c'è dietro a uno specialty coffee. Quindi i prezzi
These
sono
prices are significant and are something we have to take into account.
delle cose che bisogna considerare.
So we are more in the price range of 250 grams starting from 8-9 euros up.
Si parla dagli 8
Yes,
ai 10
price range
euro
from
per
8-10 euro per bag, as many as 70 euro per bag, right? Without naming names. But we should consider sometimes price justifies the product.
A volte il prezzo giustifica il prodotto. E gli aromi?
Oh, mamma mia, we forgot aromi. No, but it's actually, we already mentioned it in this part of the processing. But of course, often you also find the frame on the packaging where you have flavor of, for example,
And flavors, chocolate, citrus, jasmine.
or you have intensity scales, like for taste balance, for tactile balance, so you have an idea how the coffee is structured regarding acidity, sweetness, body, aftertaste, everything. Okay, is there anything else missing on the package, Massimo? Or are you happy? Ciao, la prossima volta!
Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Oh, honey, though our friendship